I'm a long-term care health worker.
You can just
Work
move
with
the
the
mic
city.
down a little closer.
I
to your
work with the city long-term care health worker. I'm an RPN. And my concern is that if the budget is being taken away from the long-term cares, my concern is that the residents that I look after as a frontline staff will also lose out with the proper care that they need. I work every day and I see that, in the mornings we have to get the residents up and ready. The time, if we don't get them up at a certain time, because of staff, we don't have enough staff helping out, they suffer. We're looking after people's families. They need to get up in the morning to eat breakfast. We need more care. We need more people to support, workers to support the residents who we look after in the long-term care. They are suffering because money is being taken out of long-term care, and we cannot put more staff. They're saying there's not much budget in the staff. We're looking after people who have families who expect us to take care of them, but if we don't have enough staff to take care of them, they suffer. Also, when we have to feed the residents, we don't have enough staff to feed them. We have a certain time when we have to do certain things, certain time to get them up, certain time to feed them, certain time to get ready. They're not machines, they're human beings. They need to take time, and if we had more staff to help with the residents, to support them more, there will be no pressure on the staff nor the residents that we're looking after. Also in the food service working area, we want to make sure that the residents have enough food that is cooked properly, not rushed because there's not enough staff to support the residents, to feed them, to make the food properly. As a worker, we notice that we're pressured to do things, but we don't have enough staff to help us. So I would really appreciate it if you just would look into it. We're looking after many people who have families who we're looking after, who expect us to take good care of them if we have enough staff. So my concern, please, have mercy on the workers and also for the residents, that we have enough staff to take care of the residents in a long-term care home. Yes. Yes.
Sorry, Councillor Layton has a question for you.
Yes.
So thank you very much for that, and I think it speaks to one of the very, very important ways that people are the ones that deliver services in our city, and we struggle with this in a couple departments. Long-term care is one, our shelter and housing is another, where while it's discussed as a reorganization of staff, what it means is less people on the front line. And can you give us an idea of, on the front line, what work will not get done as a result of us reorganizing so that there's simply less people doing the level of work? Are you able to do that?
No, we need more frontline staff to deliver the quality of care. We don't want to do the job halfly and the residents suffer. We want to make sure that they get good care by having enough staff to support the residents, because we're dealing with family members. So if we have more staff, we're making the residents happy and also the family members happy, because you've seen that long-term care has been in the TV with the way how the care is given, and it's a shame. And it also benefits because we don't have enough staff to help out, and it's stressful for the residents, especially because we're dealing with residents who have behavioral problems. They're people. We have to be gentle care. We have to promote gentle care in the long-term care facility because we're dealing with people. We're not dealing with machines. We want the families to be happy that we're taking care of their family members in the home. So if you would have mercy and look to our budget and make sure that it's not cut, so we can give the quality care we want to give, because we go to school and we learn to do it. So we want to carry out what we've learned to do with the residents in the long-term care.
Now, over the holiday break, there was an outbreak.
Yes.
Of I don't know what the virus was at the end of the day. A family member of mine works at a facility outside of Toronto, and all of a sudden he wasn't able to come to Christmas dinner as a result.
Yes.
Are you aware if that happened in the city of Toronto, or has it in your experience, and what happened with respect to staff?
Yes, it has. This year, actually, we're going through one right now, and the staff feels pressured because we have to make sure we take care of those residents who are feeling ill, and if we don't have enough staff, it's going to be hard and there's going to be more pressure. It's not only with the nurses, just everybody in that facility. You have the housekeeping, you have the dietary. We all have to make sure that we have enough staff in order to care for the residents.
And I don't mean to make you uncomfortable with what I'm going to say, and I'm going to say the words instead of you, but we're talking seniors,
Yes.
Perhaps with dementia,
Yes.
that are having serious bouts of vomiting, of diarrhea, of having extremely difficult conditions for staff, and yet no additional staffing.
Yes.
And in fact, we're now considering a different direction in our approach as a city, whether or not we should be in the business of doing long-term care or not. And I think there's a debate whether or not that should be the case. However, we're in this position now, and we want to make sure that these seniors have good care. But these are the types of conditions you're under. Now, in your experience, do other members or clients, residents of a facility, require less care when these other residents require more care?
No, they all require the same amount of care, regardless if we're having an outbreak. They all need the same amount of care, and they suffer when we're short of staff. We want to treat, full-timers, part-timers equally. Sometimes part-timers are shortchanged because they do their part by sometimes coming early, not getting paid, and also working overtime and getting cut off, not getting their overtime pay because they want to help the residents.
I've had 3 grandparents and a great-grandmother go through seniors care in the city of Toronto. None, I believe, at city facilities, but at facilities similar. And I just wanted to thank you very much for all your hard work, that you make it so much easier for families and to our most cherished ones as they live out their final years. Thank you.
Would I be able to add a couple of points that would add information to Michael Layton's questions?
Yeah, you can add it. Yeah, that's not the right time, but yeah, you got a minute or two.
Okay. Tim McGuire, President of QP Local 79. Thank you very much for it. It takes a lot of courage for frontline workers to come forward if they've never spoke before. 3 quick points. We've been doing a number of labor management meetings in each of the long-term care facilities, looking at what the issues are and trying to work collaboratively to find solutions. One of the issues that's been identified, and it came out in one of the budget documents as well, our members as frontline workers have to go certain training, some non-mandatory, some mandatory training. And they're feeling, because of the workload pressures and not enough staff to do the work, they actually sometimes do that training online at home. There's a comment in the budget about cutting the number of hours, number of shifts to support those workers so they can do their training. They're going to do that training at home. They ought to be paid while they're doing that training and do it in a thorough way. So I would make that note. There's also a note about reduced hours and we're not clear about what that is. Some of that stuff's confidential at this point. But broadly, another comment I want to make is during our recent round of negotiations, we got information in terms of the number of unfilled shifts at long-term care facilities at the city's homes. 35,000. 35,000 unfilled shifts. We're in discussions with the department, the division, to try and see how we can make sure that those shifts get filled and what those actually mean. The division has indicated some of those are actually full-time shifts that haven't been replaced, but those are services that ought to be provided to Toronto citizens, to Toronto senior citizens, and others that are in the long-term care facilities. And again, I want to thank her for her service and courage to come and speak.
Yeah. Thank you, Tim. Thank you very much.